more and more successful career women are waking up in their late 30s and 40s, late 30s, and realizing that, oh my, I don't have a child, I don't have a husband, the clock is ticking, that's me.
You want to be a mom.
I do want to be a mother, desperately.
Yeah.
I would love to have kids, and I would love to have a husband and a family.
And there
it
are
just
a lot
hasn't
of
worked out yet.
women, I bet, who are watching this right now can so relate to this next segment. Our next guest decided to knock herself up.
Louise Sloan always wanted to have a baby.
When I was 28, I was in a long-term relationship, and I was ready to have a baby right then. And my partner kept saying, no, let's wait 2 more years, let's wait 2 more years. And after an 8-year relationship, we ended up breaking up.
After a few more failed relationships, the 38-year-old decided to be artificially inseminated and have a baby on her own.
I kept on hoping that the love of my life would suddenly enter and I wouldn't have to do it this way. But realistically, I knew at 38 that I was already past my prime in terms of fertility.
Louise turned to a sperm bank, choosing one with open identity donors, meaning when the child turns 18, they're allowed to contact their donor father.
My biggest question was, what's this guy like? Is he a nice guy? Is he smart?
Using an online database, she browsed the donor profiles, looking at things like hair color and hobbies, eventually finding her baby's daddy.
He seemed to have a sense of humor. He seemed like a really sweet guy. He was athletic and good-looking.
The vials of sperm, which cost about $375 a pop to provide a pop, were shipped to her in the mail.
And you take a syringe and you draw it in, and then you do the deed.
After a few attempts, success.
I think I did 3 or 4 pregnancy tests, and they were lying around, and they all turned out positive, and I was so excited. I was really thrilled.
Louise gave birth to a son, Scott, and since he came into her life, she has never regretted becoming a single mom.
Physically, it can certainly be demanding, but it's been so much fun, and he's just so great, and I'm really glad that I've had the opportunity to do it. No, I wouldn't do it any other way.
Oh, adorable. Here today is the author of Knock Yourself Up, a guide to becoming a single mom, Louise Sloan. Thank you for being here.
We also have another single mother by choice, Nancy Nisselbaum. And joining us as well as radio host and columnist Glenn Sachs, who's an advocate for fathers' rights. And psychiatrist Dr. Deanna Taylor has been kind enough to stay with us and give us her thoughts on this. Glenn, we're getting to you in a second.
Well, we got to hear a little bit more about Louise. You found yourself at, what, 38? And
well, 38. I wanted
mom.
kids ever since I was 28. Ever since forever. But I wanted seriously at 28, and it didn't work out that way. And at 38, it was that moment of like, oh my gosh, I'm 38. I better start thinking
I'm ready
about
to be a mom.
single mom.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But you were in a relationship before that. What,
I was in a relationship
8
for 8 years, and that broke up. And then I was in a couple of relationships that lasted 3 years.
Yeah.
And each time, actually, one time I moved to a house in New Jersey, and there was a room that we talked about as the nursery.
The nursery? Oh.
Yeah, so it's been something I wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
So what was it that finally pushed you into that arena where you actually said, you know what, I'm 38, clock is ticking, I better do it? I mean, I think about this all the time.
I hate to tell you because it was my age. It was just my age. I really didn't want to be a single mom. I wanted to have a partner, and
you hear all these studies around,
yeah.
and, I'm 38, and they're
well, I knew after 35, fertility really starts to drop. So my doctor, when I was 35, said, do you want kids? And I said, yes, and she said, well, you're not getting any younger. I'm like, well, thank you for the news flash. I'm not an idiot, I know.
Well, then...
But I want to wait for the right situation, and unfortunately that did not come in time for my fertility to last.
I don't want to put this tackily, but so you needed a sperm donor.
I needed a donor, yeah.
Did you ask...
Why did you not decide to adopt?
You know, I think it's great to adopt, but and I think actually a lot of people say, isn't it selfish not to adopt? I think it's selfish for anyone not to adopt in this, overpopulated world where there's so many kids who need good homes. But like most women, like many women anyway, I wanted to have the experience of pregnancy and have the biological connection to the child, and just wanted to. It's a really primal thing, and so I wanted to do that.
Yeah, it is.
So where are we going to get did you ask friends to be the father?
I did. I asked 2 of my very close male friends to be
What's
the father.
What's that conversation like?
It was...
You bring it up at dinner?
Drinks.
Yeah.
Well, first I had to, because I've known them a long time, so I know what's great about them. I also know what's not great about them. So I had to spend some time thinking, oh, do I really want this to be the father of my child?
No takers, though.
I asked, and both of them said the same thing, interestingly enough. They both had mom and a dad, and they both had distant relationships with their dad, and they felt like it would be recreating that distant relationship with the father. And one of my friends said he would feel responsible for me and the child if we fell on hard times.
So you went to a sperm donor clinic?
I went online. Most sperm banks in the country have websites, so it ends up being like online shopping, meets online dating, which is a little alienating.
The guys and their profile.
You said it was like eBay.
It's very strange. In fact, when I started going on online sites, I kind of freaked out, and a friend of mine who's married, who just had a kid at age 40, kept calling me and harassing me. You've got to do it. You're going to lose your fertility. Do it now. Do it now. And she sort of got me over the hump, because it was really strange to think about this stranger being the father of my child.
So you and your mom kind of worked on this, and you picked out a guy.
Yeah, my mom actually. It was between two guys, and I had. I sort of leaned towards the artsy guy, but there was this all-American guy I couldn't decide, and my mom looked at the all-American guy and said, oh, he sounds dreamy. And so I ended up going with him.
Mr.
I thought, maybe it's a sign my mom likes him. So.
And it was successful the third time around?
That guy turned out to be basically shooting blanks. They.
No.
He wasn't really getting anyone pregnant. He was a really popular donor, and 8 tries later, I called the sperm bank, and they said, you really should maybe get another donor. So I got another donor and got pregnant on the second try.
How does it work? Do you take the sperm home with you?
Well, normally I did intrauterine insemination, because frozen sperm, as you can imagine, sperm doesn't really like to be frozen, so it doesn't work as well. So going to the doctor and having it put directly into your uterus statistically works better, but you can also do it at home.
You can do it
so
at
when
home.
the doctor's office was closed, I would, instead of missing a month for a holiday, I would have the sperm tank FedExed. Usually I would be visiting my mom, so it would be FedExed to my mom's house.
What do you have to say to people who say that you made a bad decision by bringing a child into the world without a father?
Well, I think that there are a lot of different situations, and there are a lot of people who have a mom and a dad who bring children into the world without thinking about it very hard. Some of them don't even like kids. They feel pressured by society, or it was an accident. I think there are a lot of really great fathers out there, but there are a lot of really bad fathers too. So I think it's the individual situation, and I knew that I had a great family, and I would make a great mom and be able to create a terrific environment for a child. So to me, that's the bottom line, is every child should be wanted and should come into a family that thought about it beforehand and can provide for it.
So the term is single mothers by choice.
Yeah.
And Nancy, you relating to her story?
Oh, very much so.
What were you, about 39, 40?
I was 40 when I had my son, so I was 39 when I got pregnant. I had tried for a number of years and ended up having fertility problems, so had to go through some medical intervention, but was eventually successful.
So when you go on the website, who are you looking for? What kind of a man are you looking for?
I was looking for what I lacked. I'm short and tone deaf. I looked for tall and musical.
Did you find tall and musical?
I found tall and musical.
And did you get pregnant by this?
I did, and my son is taking guitar lessons right now, so I could have...
Look at him. What is he, 6 now?
He's 6 years old.
But it took you, how many times? 10
I was
different?
successful on my 10th insemination.
Yeah.
Which is heart-wrenching. You go through the other 9 and it doesn't work, and you're just like, oh, God,
But the question is, what is the father's role in this? When does the father come back in? The children will start asking about their dad. Do they get to find their dad? Are they anonymous donors? When we come back, we're going to hear from Glenn. He says having no father involved is irresponsible. And we'll talk to him in a second and continue to hear these ladies' stories. Well, be right back.
So has your son asked where he is? Hey, thanks a lot. We are back talking with author Louise Sloan, single mother by choice. Nancy Nisselbaum is also here. Radio host and columnist Glenn Sachs, an advocate for fathers' rights, is here as well.
And psychiatrist Dr. Janet Taylor rejoins us from our first segment. We wanted to hear her comments on this. All right, Glenn, let's get to you now. I know you're chomping at the bit. So you're feeling, you stand up for fathers. You think that sometimes they get a raw deal. I totally agree with you. But here's the thing. You've been listening to their story. However, but, ...
Get out the long knife.
No, I mean, we've talked about this before, and you know my situation.
We didn't talk. You yelled at me.
Well, that's true. I did yell at you, but you made me mad, and I'm probably going to yell at you right now. I'm 38. I mean, like these guys, I want a baby so badly. I would love to have a husband. I'd love to have a baby. Why is it wrong for me and these women and other women out there to start thinking about having a child on our own?
Well,
I have a lot of love to give a baby.
Listening to these two, and I know they have a lot of love to give their children, but I'm still hearing, I'm hearing me. I'm hearing what they want. I'm not hearing what's best for the child. Let me tell you what's best for the child, since obviously we're unclear on that. What's best for the child is to have a father. By any measurable marker, children who have fathers are far better off than children who do not have fathers, even if you adjust for income. People say, oh, well, it's because of income. That's part of it. But a lot of it, and I know this is a big shock, a lot of it is because we, men, we are good as parents. We parent differently.
Oh, yeah,
We parent differently than mothers do, and kids need our parenting, what we do, just as much as they need what mothers do. And you can look at any of the major pathologies, whether it's juvenile crime, drug addiction, school dropouts, teen pregnancy. The biggest factor in many of those is whether the children have a father in their lives or not. Even if you adjust for income, you adjust for race, any other socioeconomic
those
factor.
statistics have been around for years and years, and those were mothers not by choice. They ended up getting pregnant when as teenagers. These are mothers, single mothers by choice. So shouldn't there be new statistics?
Who would love to have a father involved.
Well,
I
we'll
would
get
love
to that.
have no, we'll get to that now.
You're right to a point.
No, I want to hear what, because you always say we'll get to. What's the problem? Because I know that you feel like I've made a choice that I don't want to have a dad or don't want to be in a relationship. Trust me, I do. Trust me, I want to be in a relationship and I want to have a husband.
So what's
You're saying I'm too picky?
Well, do you think
the question is, do you think I'm too picky?
Yeah.
You're nuts.
Yeah.
You're absolutely crazy.
Can I just say something? I think
Go
it's
ahead.
important to talk about the difference between men and women parenting. Yes, kids need a masculine and feminine figure, but it does not mean that they cannot be healthy and whole adults in their development. It's the attachment. And women can attach to children just as well as men can attach to children. So it's not just the fact that you have a father. You need a father who's involved. Just like if you're a single mother by choice, which is completely fine, you just need a mother who is consistent and reliable and able to attach to the child.
Right. But obviously, I'm not.
It's okay.
Obviously, I'm not saying these children are doomed. I'm sure these children will turn out fine. You could have
Somebody online said my son would turn out to be in prison. So.
Their parent. Well, the odds are better if it's a single mother than if he has a father. That's the truth.
The number one statistic that relates to children not achieving in school and ending up in prison is related to income and education, which they tie together. So you have to look at that. It's the economic stability that really, if you look at
but
which
even if you
most
factor
statistics.
even if you factor that in, the presence of a father is still a huge factor.
We're not
beyond
arguing that
income,
the presence
beyond
of a
race.
father is not important.
We're not arguing. Oh yeah, fathers are wonderful. Well, what kind of statement are we getting about the importance of
Why do we
fathers
have to be
when
in
we're
a
not having
relationship?
one?
You'd rather us be in a miserable relationship?
Why
That's
is the
why I want a kid,
alternative
bringing a kid into a
either be
relationship where we
single or
fight
be
all the time
miserable?
with our husband.
When you literally don't know any families where the father was terrible? I mean, there are wonderful fathers, and I think that's a great thing, and I think that's ideal for a child.
And let me tell you, I know families where the mother's terrible.
Yeah.
And I know
think you have to
divorced
look at the
couples.
individual
I know
situation,
divorced
Glenn.
couples where the mother's done everything she possibly can to drive the father
Glenn, in
out
a
of the
word.
kid's
And I
life.
think that's
There's
terrible.
good and bad on
I
both
wanna say,
sides.
Louise, Glenn, in a word, before we got to take a break here, do you think these women are irresponsible for making the choice they made?
I think it was a poor choice. I think it would be far better if those kids had a father.
They can't find a husband that they can't find a man that they want
You know,
to share a
women
marriage
always act
with.
like it's this big surprise. Oh my God, I'm 38 and I'm not married. Like they had no idea this was coming.
What do you mean they had no idea it was coming? I don't want to settle down with somebody that I fight with every day. I want to be with somebody who I'm happy with.
You mean to
and
tell
then
me
I'll
you can't find a man that you won't fight with every day? Look, Juliet, I'm married, but I'm not blind. You're a very attractive woman. You're a very attractive woman. You could find plenty of men
I'm not
who would
going
be
to
thrilled
settle
to be
with
with
somebody.
you.
Look,
But
marriage
that's
is not
the
just,
whole
hey,
thing.
he's
It's always with women,
okay
it's always
for me.
settling. It's always all the different reasons why he's not good enough and he's not right and all the problems.
You don't marry
with him,
everybody
not
you
with
fall
you,
in love with.
him.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to marry him. Well, I actually.
You're going to meet an 18-year-old girl, Katrina, who is the result of a sperm donation. That's a way of putting it, I guess.
Glenn and I hugged it out during the break. We're okay.
They were announcing their engagement later on in the program. Hey, we're back talking about women who choose donor insemination over having a father involved.
How does that affect the child? To help us answer that question, please welcome 18-year-old Katrina Clark. She is the daughter of a donor dad. And back with us are single moms by choice, Louise Sloan and Nancy Nisselbaum.
And there's Glenn. He's still with us. And Dr. Janet's still with us, too. So, Katrina, Glenn, look at Katrina. She is the product of artificial insemination, and she is adorable and lovely and smart and fantastic.
Thank you.
How old was your mom when she decided to go through the artificial insemination?
She was 31.
31, okay. As Louise said, the right age, a little bit younger. Did she talk about it? When did she first tell you that that's where you came from?
Ever since I started asking questions. So I think I must have been about 3 years old. I don't even remember just noticing that I didn't have a dad, but other kids did.
Sure.
So I started, being inquisitive and asking her where my dad was.
Glenn, you probably heard Glenn and his conversations with us over this past couple minutes. What was your feeling when you realized, okay, you know what, most of my friends have dads. Did you feel like you were missing out, or did you feel like, hey, it's the way it is?
Not at all. I mean, the way that my mother, told me how I was conceived and everything, I grew up thinking it was absolutely normal, and I was no different from anyone else.
Well, there's an odd question. Please forgive me, Katrina. Did you ever feel odd about coming from a tube? The artificial insemination aspect of it, that you don't have a dad you can go and hug and stuff like that.
I did have daydreams when I was little about, what it would be like to have a father figure and whatnot,
Sure.
but it never created any sort of void in my life. As I got older, I realized that I was different, but not in any sort of negative way.
But you did go after finding out who your father was.
I did.
And how was that process?
Well, I thought it was going to be more intense than it was. I thought I was going to have to look up archives and whatnot.
Dramatic.
Exactly.
Years of research.
But it took 2 days.
Good for you. Smart, knows how to use the web.
And you actually got in contact with him.
I did.
Did he want to meet?
No, not yet.
Why not? What do you think it is, the hold up there?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, he only found out that he had a daughter not even 2 years ago. I've known all my life that I had a dad.
Why?
Or biological father, rather.
He did this in college. And I knew some guys, who did that, and they gave their sperm, and they got some money, and they walked away, and they didn't think about what was going to happen 18 years, 20 years later.
Absolutely. And most cryobanks, that's their target audience, are college students. Yeah. I've seen advertisements with a picture of a superhero that says, give the best gift of all, the gift of life.
Well, did you ever not tell people? Did you ever feel ashamed?
I never did personally.
Yeah.
No. I've always been very open about it.
Would you, if you find yourself 20 years from now, not in a relationship, and you wanted a child, would you do this?
No.
You wouldn't?
I would
not?
Simply because I realize that there are children out there who already need parents, and these parents need children. So why not save a life that's already here instead of creating a new one?
Do you think you were loved less because you didn't have a dad?
Oh, absolutely not.
No?
No, my mom was both my mom and my dad.
I want to get some final comments from all of you. Glenn, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm glad things have worked out well for her, and I wish the best of luck to them and their children. But, I've written about the subject. I often hear from children of sperm donors, and they do feel there's a big void in their lives. And even the fact that she's gone and looked for her father 18 years later, I think shows that there's some void there. And, I think for a lot of these children, it's very painful. And I know her mother loved her, but you know what? She's not as loved as a lot of children are, because no matter how good her mother is and no matter how loving she is, she also does not have the love of a father. And as the father of a daughter, I can tell you that bond, the father-daughter bond, is very, very special. It's very loving. It's very
Glenn, thank you for being
important.
here. Dr. Janet, we'll have you back on, and we'll just run out of time, okay? Katrina, thank you for coming,
Thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing your story. Appreciate it. And you can find Knock Yourself Up wherever books are sold.
Yes, those are probably bookstores. And for more on Single Moms
you can
by
do it
Choice,
on the internet.
Well, the online too. Go to mjshow.com. That's probably the easiest thing to do. We'll link you.